Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Shoshana, and I want to talk about a topic that I think is important to understand during the spiritual awakening because it interlinks with the entire spiritual awakening. It's a topic that came up yesterday during a conversation, and I just think that it is so important to understand that being shy and being conceited are two sides of the exact same thing. So this is why when you are shy, one of the stories that you tell yourself is I'm not coming I'm afraid to come off as conceited. And when you're conceited, it's oh, I'm not shy. These are the stories that you tell yourself when in actuality these are two parts, the flip side of the coin, right? They are the same. So we are taught in society nowadays that shyness is okay, that it's acceptable because you are being modest, or it's okay to lower yourself, whereas if you are conceited, it is considered to be you're being um, bold, or you are getting the big head, or you are looked on as, um, well, being in modern society, there's a consensus on it, and it comes off as a negative thing, where in fact, they are both the same. And both of them come from an egotistical place. Being shy and being conceited are both egotistical. It is in both instances, you are thinking that it is you, that you, the ego self, and the ego is not a negative thing. It is the sense of I. It is the sense of separateness. It is the sense that I am this mind, this body, and it is. When in fact you are a much grander spiritual being. So when you are being shy of who you are, it is like you're being ashamed of the God essence or nature that is flowing through you. You are not willing to shine your being. And being conceited is also taking credit for the divinity that is flowing through you. So it is also thinking that it is all you. Um, and I want to come at this from another direction, because I feel like it's such an important um, message to understand. When you are shy of who you are, it's like saying, no, the divine made a mistake, that because each and every one of us has come from creation. We are of creation. We are of the earth. We are just like the birds. You would never look at a bird and say, oh, that bird should be totally ashamed of themselves and not fly to the fullest extent of their capability, because then they're being conceited and they're being um, they should be ashamed of themselves. And in the same in the same way, it's like you're trying to take credit or ownership over who you are, um, and and in a way that when you are shy, it's you thinking that you're less than divine, right? You're embarrassed of this body, this being that you are, this God essence that you are. And being conceited is also taking ownership. It's like deciding that yeah, this being that I am, it's taking credit for uh, the God essence that is flowing through you, when in fact it was given to you as a gift and on loan, because we're giving it back when we go back. So it isn't, you don't even have ownership over it. It's like you are borrowed and you get to make this experience the most that you can. And just in this valley that I'm walking down now was when I had an epiphany about this. And I'll kind of tell the story. So I came to this valley and I met a woman and her daughter was about my age, and the woman that the mother was about 70 something. And I got into a conversation with the mother, and I could see that the daughter was very depressed. And slowly, as I was talking to the mother, it took about 2 hours. The daughter came closer. And then she said to me, you know, I thought that I had found my destiny or what I was meant to do, and now I'm not so sure. And I asked her what she thought um, that her purpose was. And she said that she had been doing ayahuasca circles. And I was kind of blown away by that, because in order to do ayahuasca circles, in order to hold that space, you have to be very evolved, because it is such a tremendous task to hold an ayahuasca medicine circle like that. But what came to me and what I realize is that whenever we are in a conversation with somebody, it is a co-creation. And and what came to me, which was also a gift to me, was that your destiny and what you are, your purpose, cannot be something that is of the finite world. It can't be that you have come here to do ayahuasca circles, because that is something that is of physical form. And because we are constantly and consistently and forever evolving and growing, then maybe that could be for a certain amount of time. But as you evolve and as you expand, that isn't something that expands with you. Maybe the attributes of it. And so what came to me to mind was that couldn't be your sole purpose, because you are constantly expanding. And then I realized, it was like an epiphany, that our purpose is just to be us, to be a perfect expression of who we are. That means that means that if we are not in expression, if we are shy of who we are, then and embarrassed of whatever God essence is flowing through us, then we are not fulfilling our purpose here. And it doesn't mean to get conceited and think that, oh, this is me. I'm doing this, because once you get into that kind of mindset, it goes off. And not only that, because whatever is flowing through you is a connection to the divine and is a divine flow, then if you start thinking that it's you and you have to control it and you have to come up with it all the time and you have to manage it, then you won't be able to hold it. Thinking that it is you disconnects you from that flow. And then you're constantly in fear, because because something in you, your ego, if you are in the ego, knows that it isn't the essence of who you are. And so then you're constantly having to be on guard, or to constantly having to figure it out as you go. And what if you don't know what to do? Because your ego knows that your ego is just the shell or the container for what is flowing through. So it's a false sense of I. It's also a sense of I, but it's a false sense of I. It is I'm at a loss of words. I've been kind of going through it myself today, so I haven't had a lot of words today. And so I was walking through this valley and I was looking at the stones, and there was water flowing through the valley and all of the plants, and I was thinking, wow, I am made up of all of this. I am part of this. Everything that is in me was once a plant, a rock, there's iron flowing through my veins. There's magnesium. Everything that is in the dust is me. I am of this dust. And then I was thinking, whoa, I am one makeup. I am one example of what can be made from all of this physical mishmash. And then I was thinking to myself, but also my soul, also the expression that I am, what is being my life light, is one expression that is in existence, that ever was, that ever will be. And so my job is to bring myself forward in the purest, most um, accurate way that I can, most authentic way that I can. That means purify myself so that I can be that pure channel, so that whatever life light wants to flow through me can flow through me in the most natural, accurate, authentic way that it can. And so then I was like, for 2 weeks, I was on this high. I was like, my destiny is to be me, is to be the most authentic version of myself, and not to be shy of myself, because being shy of myself is like spitting in the well you're drinking from. It's like saying I'm not divine. There was a mistake. Oh, God made a mistake, or creation made a mistake. God is such it is God, but it's more, it's the word God has so much meaning attached to it, and so many, but but it's everything. We are part of existence. It's existence. It's like saying that existence made a mistake. And then I'm shy of my humanity, of being human. And it's almost like we were taught that it's okay to be ashamed of who you are, because then you're being modest, and then it's society, in society it's accepted. And it's such a misconcept, because it puts us in the state of fear of even just being, fear that we're going to be found out if we're just at a state of being who we naturally are, because every part of us is in accordance to nature, and the way that our body works is in accordance to nature. You know, we everything about us is like every single other human being. Every single other being of our species. And so what is there to be ashamed of? I remember when I was a kid, that you're taught not to burp, not to fart, not to do those things in public, which is okay. I understand. Um, but I remember boys saying that girls don't fart, and I remember, like, it put shame on that place, and that is of human nature. That is how our body biologically works. And we have shame over those things. It's like it's almost shameful to even say, because it's not ladylike, or whatever. You get it. And we are conformed into these societal agreements that we never had the chance to agree to, because we were just born into them. These big societal consensuses that hold us in these false beliefs, and of what is acceptable and what isn't acceptable. And they have been warped for so many generations. It's like winter came back all of a sudden today. I hope that the sound is okay. It's been like it's been forming for so many generations, that what is acceptable, what isn't acceptable, that it has like almost like gone away from our human nature. And so for 2 weeks, I was walking around with this, like, just imagining everybody being an expression of who they are, and I'm going, finding my purest way to express myself, and and it's truth seeking. It's everything that comes up. Why am I doing this? Is this the true way of being? Is this according to my nature? Am I being an expression, or am I being afraid to express myself because I'm afraid of judgment? So it really puts you in a place where you start. I found this little corner in here. It's like under a tree. It's kind of pretty here. And it puts you in this place of really having to look inward and seeing, why am I doing the things that I'm doing? Is it correct to do them that way, or is it because of societal conformment and conditioning that was put on me from early childhood? And it's amazing how much internal work there is to do on this. I'm still finding things within myself. And then once you find them and you bring them up to the surface and you can look at them, and then you can decide for yourself, okay, if do I keep this behavior, or do I remove this behavior? And a lot of times we find behaviors that we find are false behaviors, or at least we're able to realize that we do something in a certain way because of conformment and because of conditioning. But we decide that because there is a consensus that is almost worldwide, and it doesn't hurt anything to keep it that way, then that at least we're doing it knowledgeably. At least we're deciding for ourselves. And so I was walking around for 2 weeks, and this total, like, oh, I'm just going to be an expression. And then I'm imagining, like, energetically, all these people walking around and being lights and being these expressions of themselves. And that's what the destiny is. And that's what we were meant to do here. And then I realized, well, wait a minute. If everybody's just an expression, then what does it mean if there's nobody there to witness it? And then I realized that it's a duality. It's being your expression, but also being witnesses of other people's expressions. And it's perfect because it creates this cycle, right? You're an expression, and other people are an expression. So you get to watch them and applaud them and say, yeah, look at you go. Look at your expression. Look who you are. And that creates this cycle where they can also watch you. You're in full expression. They're in full expression. And when you are in the knowing that you are divine and not ashamed of yourself, then you are not intimidated or jealous of other people doing their thing and being in full expression. When does intimidation and jealousy come in? They come in when you do not know your own power and not know your own strength and not know your own worth. Then you are feeling inadequate, and you are feeling lesser than, and you are feeling insecure in who you are. And then when you see somebody else thriving and being in full expression and being out there, and then you dislike them because it reflects back to you what you think that you aren't. And it threatens your place in the world and makes you feel even smaller because that person is in expression. Whereas when each and every person is in expression, other people being in expression delights you because it gives you more to look at. It makes your life, it enhances your life. And not only that, you also get to learn from other people. Other people, when people are in full expression of themselves and they are an example of that, then it becomes like inspiring for you, and it opens you up even further, and it gives you more legitimacy, and then you are in this upward spiral. So part of it, it's like being a beacon. It's like being a beacon. You are being an expression, which is putting out a vibration, but you are also able to receive vibrations and see other people's expressions, and it teaches you more and it broadens your experience and makes your experience all the more beautiful and enlightened and enlightening and interesting, right? Your life becomes that much more interesting because you can feed off of each other's um, light. It's it's uh, it's nourishing rather than taking away. Whereas when you are in that spiral of not knowing your worthiness and you are going in this downward spiral, or before you go through that portal into your self realization, that's a word I was looking for yesterday, I couldn't find it. Self realization, then and in that place, that little dark hole of yours, being shy from the world and shying away from other people because they may see me and may know I'm not worthy, right? Because that's going back into that shyness, which is that not knowing that I am divine, not knowing my worth, not feeling unworthy, which there's an epidemic, global epidemic, which allows people to be controlled, right? We're not going to get into it, but the mainstream matrix people are being controlled through their fear and their feeling of inadequacy and feeling that if of scarcity, that which fear is scarcity. It's the same. It's the same. It comes from. It stems from the same source. Source of it's the darkness. It's the shadows. Your shadows of yourself. And so there are people and structures, let's say entities, let's just say it's entities of government, entities of different entities that gain from people not knowing their worth and from being afraid and from living small lives and not knowing that they're divine and not knowing their own greatness, because it's easier to control, and it is easier also, the way that society is. If most of society knew, or were consciously aware of, because people know it, but it's like it's not an inner knowing, that they're not taking all this stuff with them. I was just reading about the pharaohs today. They found another grave of pharaohs and uncovered it in the last couple of days or so in Egypt. It was grave robbed, and there's no name on the door. And the pharaohs would be put, and I think I'm not there's no judgment here. I just bringing it as a point because it like pinged in my mind, so it must be relevant. And they were buried with treasure, right? But and all that treasure, is it's when you move on, all you are left with is your experience that you had here, how much expansion you did. You're not taking anything with you. And so to it's nice to have nice things, and it's nice to be able to travel around the world and not to have and to have comfort in life. But to be running after material things and your entire life running around your own tail, it's counterproductive. It takes away from your life rather than adding to it. And so I think I would have covered enough topics here. And so I'm sending you guys so much love. If you would like a one-on-one session with me, my contact information is below. Thank you for watching.